What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, Association, not an ocean, association, not an ocean, association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers in 2023, 2022, and 2021. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Also, I'm a contributor to the Fly Nubian Queen Network. So welcome to everyone that's watching on Fly Nubian Queen. Thank you, Dr. Boyce and Dr. Aisha. And also, I'm going to be a soon-to-be launched contributor to the Indie Soup Media Network, which is run by Dr. Tachi, who's a friend of this platform, and also Dr. Boyce and Dr. Aisha. And the reach of that platform is over 1 million people, and we have a reach of 550,000 subscribers on Fly Nubian Queen. So as always, I like to say, you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live. Man, it's the end of January already, January 27th. My goodness. Well, finally, we've got some warm weather here in Toronto. Let's see if it's warm where these ladies are, because they're the stars. Aisha K and LaLa, what's going on?
Howdy, howdy.
What's up? What's everyone up to?
It's been a week. We've had some fun stuff happen.
It's been a week. It's been
has.
a week.
Can you believe it's almost the end of the freaking month? I can't even believe this. We're going to be in February next week.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gone by fast. It's gone by
very fast. I think we should say, Aisha, we say Laura, LaLa, Locks Key, right? Laura, LaLa.
I try to keep it fresh and funky, you know.
Yes, like it's either a different t-shirt, different sweatshirt, or different hairstyle.
Right. I like it, though.
I mean, like,
keep you guessing.
Keep you guessing. So what's been going on? Like, before we came on live, and everyone, I should do some homework first. So Primetime Saturday store is there. There's the link. I'll also share it on all the platforms where this is being broadcast live. Also, Primetime Saturday Patreon, and they've got lots of stuff going on. Aisha said she has some catching up to do on the Patreon, but I'm not going to go there. Also,
it's just the one episode from Thursday. We had some technical difficulties recording Wednesday, so we ended up recording Thursday. And yesterday,
but we always have a good time.
Well, that's the most important thing. And also, if you want to join the Primetime Saturday Discord group, please do it. Lots of great stuff going on there. Lots of really, really good stuff here. Also, if you want to subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show, do it on YouTube, and also hit the notification button. By the way, ladies should keep a track of what's going on in the YouTube shorts, because some of the shorts that you've been appearing in or that I've been posting have been receiving some very favorable responses and reviews. So check that out. And also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And also, to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I post, host, produce, show up on, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So before we went live, I was hanging out for the last hour or two on my computer, and I would just, the recommended stuff shows up on YouTube, and I think a number of people watching this show would not remember a show called, or not have heard of a show called The Midnight Special. And it was on it's all like 50 years ago, some of the stuff. But I'm telling you, all over types of artists would appear on this show. And a lot of times it was not live to track. It was them playing real instruments.
Real stuff. Singing
real stuff. And I was watching today, seeing Curtis Mayfield, Isley Brothers in their prime on the show. Like, you'd see all variety of different types of artists. And I don't know of a show, at least in North America wise, where you saw such a wide variety of artists. I don't know of one. Any of you two?
I loved it because it was all genres. You could
Yes.
enjoy everybody. I mean, but one thing that people didn't think about with Soul Train also allowed all different genres. You saw different
Yeah.
people come there. And I really liked the fact that at that time that was actually forward thinking, because remember at that time you only had radio stations that were dedicated to certain genres of music.
Right.
So it was a nice way to cross it over.
Soul Train was so groundbreaking that Dick Clark went and tried to make his own version of it to catch a more colorful audience than Bandstand did, and Don Cornelius sued him and won.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fox News right now has Fox Soul.
Well, so
I know. I guess that's their version.
Who's so?
Okay, all right. So okay, so let's say hi to the family, because we got another number of people who jumped in already. Hello, Fitness IQ Cam, Jen Myers. Hello, JJ Mars, and again, JJ Mars. Much love to you. You show up on this show and you show up on the Morning Vibe. I love it. Jen Meyer says, I remember that, Dr. Vibe. Yeah. And Bernard says, beautiful girls. Well, beautiful ladies. I don't know about girls. They're beautiful ladies.
Thank you.
Bernard, 2 girls for me. Okay. And and Fitness
I think my husband might have a problem with that, Bernard.
And ooh, the artists. Yes, you definitely go to the midnight special, and let's see, there'll be at least one performance, at least. And I like all types of music, like seeing Journey back in the day with Steve Perry and his voice.
Yes. Untouchable.
Yeah, it was just amazing. But I had something on my mind and I forgot you were talking about something, and I said I should have. Can't remember. You were talking about something. What were you talking? Oh, Prince.
Yeah.
Is it the 40th anniversary
of Purple Rain?
Yeah, and sometimes
there's a big Twitter thing going on now because someone posted a like one of those memes that said, one artist's catalog has to go, and it's Prince, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, and Usher, and a lot of I'll say unseasoned folks, meaning that they're young, are like, oh, well, Prince can go, I'll keep Chris Brown. I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
You can get rid of them last 2 bottoms for me. I'm good.
You know what though? Usher's catalog is actually really good. So
I just don't like him.
I would keep the 3, but Chris Brown has to go. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's like, and so one of the comments that I made to that was, I said, Pharrell, quote unquote, gave Chris Brown his flowers at the Something's in the Water festival a few years ago. And I'm like, guess what? You don't get Pharrell giving Chris Brown his flowers without Prince, because that's the title of the song.
Oh, so this is Fitness IQ Ken says, I didn't like that post.
You know what? I'm with you, Fitness, because let me tell you, it's like, don't make me choose. I can't. It's when people say, what's your favorite song? I can't choose. I love it all. There's no way that I can choose one song.
Yeah, well, there's another one there's another one someone responded to today and asked, I forgot what the question was, but it was a picture of Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Prince, and Babyface in that order. So the square went that way. And I said, honestly, you don't get one without the other, because I'm like, they're in the order of how they inspired each other, because Stevie Wonder said Smokey Robinson inspired him. Prince said Stevie Wonder inspired him, and Babyface said Prince inspired him. So
it's wonderful.
That's the evolution of music right there.
Well, if I had to pick one out of all of them, I'd say Stevie.
You know what, though? I don't think they were asking to pick.
I know. I was just saying, personal-wise. Go ahead.
I would, I don't feel like I could pick. I know this one. I know this much. Smokey Robinson, great songwriter. I am not a fan of Smokey Robinson's. Not his. I've realized it's not his voice so much. It's the way that it's that goofy, shady looking smile and face that he makes. And
No,
always he
you
looks
so
sneaky to me. He looks sneaky to me. It's
no,
like
for
stop.
me, like, and it's just funny because when we're chatting about this, it's like people say, "Oh, what's the best interview you've done?" And I said, "Well, first of all, I don't do interviews. I do conversations." I say, I can't pick one. It just
Mhm.
there's so many that I've done. I could just like say, yeah,
Don't do
this
it.
I can't pick one
I
because it
can't do
wouldn't do
it.
the other. Yeah, it would do the other injustice. Like
Mhm.
people say, what's the best concert you've ever seen? Well, I could probably nail it down to 20. And by the end, I get to by 13, I know I gotta add this, I got this. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's like I
But
say,
that's the beauty of music and different artists. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't have to just like one thing. I am extremely proud of the fact that I can sing anything from 30s forward. Because I
Yeah.
used to sing at
wow,
nursing homes, and I would go to the nursing homes and sing 30s, 40s, and 50s tunes because
come
that was
on.
what, come on,
No.
serious.
That's what
Yes.
you want to hear.
Yes, because that's what got their memories going, their music. They'd come in
Like,
sometimes and be zombified, but then when they heard their music, they'd wake up.
And I think only listening to what's current and what you know, or up to a certain point, really, it doesn't just limit you in terms of your taste and your style and your ability to express yourself, but there is so much to learn going forward about music structure, about how music has evolved. It's historical. You're really, and also too, it really limits your and stifles your creativity. I
yes,
think as
Mhm.
a person, I think you got to listening to music before there was music video. Okay, it
yeah,
forces you to have to imagine things and think
Yes,
things through and pay attention to things in ways that you don't other ordinarily wouldn't. It's like, remember before when we were little kids, right? There wasn't music video shows. People were making them, but you weren't seeing them, right? And
right.
so you had to imagine what that would look like if you were watching it on TV or imagining, the scenarios, but also too, you paid more attention to the lyrics and what
yes,
the words were
like
and the story that was being told.
yeah, like to me, music started to take a U-turn once videos came out. That's just me. That's just me. And of course, I always remember the song "Video Killed the Radio Star." I
Yeah.
always remember that song by the Buggles. But for me, video, it just
Well, I
when
think
someone's trying to tell me what I'm supposed to think about a song, let me imagine it. Don't put it on a screen. Let me just use my imagination. That's just me. Just
I think
getting
though,
back to Smokey, just my
though,
imagination. Go on.
but though, I think though that it's more so um after people started with these big budget videos, because remember also too, now they don't cut songs the way they used to. You used to just
Right.
when we got the radio versions, it was really just a sample of the song, 2 minutes 30 seconds max,
That's
but
right.
you could go on and listen to the album version of the cut and
Yep.
imagine something totally different or beyond what you saw, right? And it had a life afterwards. But now, because there isn't that limited time of listening, and the videos that people do are so big budget, so detailed, that there is no imagination. But also too, I think I liked not being overly saturated with my favorite artists, because
Yeah.
even though we saw Michael Jackson all the time, there wasn't a 24/7 um availability. So
Yes.
there's this kind of excitement that generated within you when you got to see,
You
like,
had to run
Grammy
to
Awards,
listen
the
or watch
American
it.
Music Awards.
Mhm.
The reason people don't have that kind of interest in them, they're just kind of like, well, it's because you see that artist every day on
Every
videos, on
time.
social,
Mhm.
everywhere. So it's not like a treat to see them on TV. It's
That's
not a
right.
event.
It was a whole event when that came
Family would get
when
together and
Carol
watch
came,
it
we would
together.
all enjoy it. There's a whole history behind it. The Netflix documentary right now about Michael Jackson's story about you know, the thriller and all that stuff is absolutely amazing. And it discusses how they had to fight so hard to get him on MTV. And then all of a sudden he became the poster child because he was bringing so many views. You know, and I mean, I didn't have cable growing up. In my area, I lived in the country. We didn't have it. So all we had was the Friday night videos on regular TV or the Soul Train. If you missed it, you missed it. And I remember just making sure I had alarms, old school alarms going off and on because I didn't want to miss those shows. Now it's just, you know, you want to hear something, you drop it into Spotify and it's there. I miss those days of being able to really cherish running to see those artists.
Yeah, and you know, I do too. One of the things that I remember about my grandfather, my father's father, he died when I was 12. But when I was like 3 years old or so, you know, my aunt would babysit me at my grandfather's house. And I would sit in this big armchair with my grandfather, and he would take out his TV guide with his little pen and go through and circle everything that he was going to watch that day. And so when those shows were coming on that you were talking about, LaLa, every Sunday, you get the TV guide either in the paper or you buy it at the grocery store, the TV guide version, and you would go through to see what you were going to watch.
That's right.
That week and who is going to be where.
My dad used to underline it in the TV guide. He'd underline it.
Like yeah, it was so exciting because I remember watching Motown 25 when it came on, and we had the whole family got together. There was food, and it was a big thing.
It's a big to do.
Yeah, I remember watching. Remember when Thriller premiered? They were selling the 3D glasses and stuff, and and all the stuff that you had to go to the grocery store and get, and you couldn't miss the pre-show because they were doing the making of Thriller, and it was a big thing. And oh my God,
it's amazing. I wouldn't trade it for the world
because if you had to get punished and not see it, all the kids were going to be talking about it at school the next
day. And you didn't know, again, you couldn't see it. It wasn't no reruns. Wasn't no reruns.
All right, you know what? We got a show to do. We got a show to do, and plus I got to catch up on those comments. Fitness IQ Cam says, I know who's out of my playlist. Well, who's out of that playlist? So you got to tell me in the comments.
Must be Chris Brown.
JJ Marr says, but some artists have produced some real classic songs for all ages. Absolutely. Good to see that you're doing well, JJ Marr. It's good to see you're doing well also, Jen. Let's get to some other comments here after I typed a whole pile of stuff in the comments. JJ Marr says, some artists, unfortunately, put too much vulgar content in their work. That was a big issue with many BET videos.
Well, yeah. There's a whole thing over Nelly's video tip drill when, you know, they were talking about the sliding the credit card and the woman's behind. But, you know, though, here's the thing. The difference, I think, is there's one thing, you know, Prince could be explicit in his songs, but you had to imagine what that was going to be like. It wasn't there for you.
Right.
For you. And there was a kind of thrill about listening to it in your headphones and your parents not knowing what you were listening to.
There you go. All right.
A whole show on this.
Okay. Well, maybe for 10 for 10.
Yeah.
No. I think it's a whole show.
We should do that
one. You know you want in on that, Dr.
Yes, I do. I want in on that.
You know what? We should start Black History Month like that next week.
Yes.
Okay. Well, before Black History Month hits, let's talk about what's going on for the rest of this month. First conversation piece. Fewer than half of Black Americans say the news often covers issues that are important to them.
I wonder why.
Wonder. Where is the lie? There is no lie in that. It's the truth.
Yeah, and this was a story that I chose, and one of the things that spoke to me in reading this article was that you know, first of all, this was a Pew Research study done in 2023, and I'm just going to read the statistics to you. When it comes to the item on that survey was Black Americans are less likely than white Americans to say the news often covers most issues important to them. And then they surveyed all U.S. adults, regardless of color. 48% said that they are less likely that the news covers issues that are important to them. Black people, it's 40%. White people, 54% say that the news covers issues important to them. Latinos, 37%, Asian, 38%. So and they didn't include indigenous people. So all of the people of color are about the same, at the same number. Less than half, not even less than half, less than 45%. Okay. 40% or lower. And so this should be, a message to news organizations. But what are news organizations doing right now? There's a whole big shakeup going on where there are these mass layoffs at some news organizations. And so LaLa and I talked about this on 10 and 10, and I'll put that video out tomorrow. But the AI, the use of AI is going to impact this even more, because remember who is programming AI.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So they're not thinking about us. And also too, white America thinks that our issues are only our issues.
That's right.
And their issues are everybody's issues. And that's just not true. I mean, our issues, we might hurt more with certain issues, but the things that matter to us also matter to them. And the things that matter to us specifically as Black people in this country should matter to them, because, like it or not, the population is changing. The demographics are changing.
Yep. Yep.
And just
what's the saying? How long before it hits you? It's going to hit you.
Oh yeah.
It's going to hit you.
Yeah, it will. It will. And some of these issues that are important to us, we feel a certain way about the economy and in hiring practices and things. But I think the true fact is that they don't want to have to feel that there are issues that impact us that they benefit from. Things
That's
like
right.
We can all complain about the economy, but then when we start talking about equity issues and intersectional issues, they don't want to hear it because of the whole guilt thing. Well, here's the thing. You wouldn't feel guilty. You wouldn't feel guilty if you were working to change it.
Thank you. That's the problem.
Okay.
Nobody wants to change it.
So should I go in with you on this, or should we move on to the next thing?
Please.
Okay, so this is interesting because one of the YouTube videos that I've watched a number of times this week, whether you like him or not, there's a gentleman named Roland Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and he has his own platform on YouTube, etc. But he went in about how many people have heard about the network Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Who owns Tubi?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't think it's Black people.
It's not. What major network owns Tubi?
I would probably say Fox.
I don't watch it.
Fox is right.
No.
But remember, Fox News and Fox are no longer owned by the same people.
Right. But so I'm going to put the link in the Discord. He went into a deep dive about Black media and getting
pretty ghetto.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, right? People don't realize that it's a long story, but long story short, and I hope I get most of the parameters right. Fox, okay, remember some also remember this show In Living Color?
Yes.
What network was that on?
Fox. Fox had a Living Color, Martin, Living Single.
Yeah, okay.
Fox was doing Black media for a while. Until they started seeing this shift.
Okay, so according to Roland Martin, I'm going to put the video link in the chat for our show. Many years ago, In Living Color did a halftime spoof during a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if anyone remembers this.
Men in Film.
Right.
I do.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a Super Bowl episode.
Notice within a few months of that, all the Super Bowl started doing their big. They didn't have the big halftime extravaganzas at that time, but Fox and the Super Bowl people went, this is something big here, because they got big numbers for that broadcast. So within a year or so's time, what happened to all the Black programming on Fox?
Gone.
Wow.
They were cycling off because that Thursday night block used to be so great with Martin Living Single,
Oh,
New York
yeah.
Undercover
Right.
every Thursday, and then
Right.
Sunday night
Right.
it would be in Living Color. But
Yeah.
that episode, I remember that episode
I did
because
too.
the musical performance was by Coloring Bad, so it was like 91, 92 ish. Yeah, 91, I think it was. It was 91.
Yeah. So they took and basically, and you notice that you don't see anything syndication wise within Living Color, do you?
No, you
No,
don't.
you don't. And I don't think
And
that they'll ever let them do that.
no, they're ever going to let them do that. Just like, oh, what was this?
Wait, I take it back. I take it back, Dr. Vibe. You know what? TV1 for a while was running episodes of In Living Color. This is
Oh, really?
probably about
Yeah.
7 years ago.
But you notice though,
Yeah.
and so they basically Keenan Ivory Wayans and Fox had a big dispute, and they basically Keenan wanted a certain amount for royalties and things like that, and it never happened. So people need to realize you got to follow the money,
The money. Always
right?
follow the money.
Because you from what and I've only read about Tubi, the content on there is a lot of reality shows, etc., all those things.
A movie about Carly Russell.
Yeah, okay.
Called The Babysitter Who Saw the the nurse who saw the baby on the highway.
Here's another great example. OWN.
Yeah.
When OWN was started, that was Oprah's network.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They weren't getting numbers.
No.
So what type of programming did they start putting on?
They moved to true crime and reality TV. And
a lot of black shows, reality television on OWN. So what Roland Martin was basically saying is, we are the foundation. We're giving all these platforms money, but they do not support black advertising.
That's true.
I think though that I'm not necessarily sure he meant OWN. I think he meant Oxygen, because remember Oprah started with he said OWN. But remember she started with Oxygen before OWN, because she ended up moving to OWN afterwards because they weren't getting the numbers, and then Oxygen changed its format. She's still part owner.
If anyone wants, please, if you're not a member of the Discord group, I would say just for that link I'm going to put in the group, it is a very interesting education on black media and the lack of support by black media, because basically he's saying he's upset because saying credible hard news stuff, black people aren't supporting independent content creators like him, but they'll support Tubi with, he says, quote, he says, ratchet programming, and they're giving money to Fox. And he says, you black people, he says, the people support Tubi, you're supporting Fox, who's a company that supports political outfits that want to shut your rights down.
Well, Prince said that, actually Prince, we were talking about him earlier, said this back in like 98, 99 about UPN and WB. He said UPN, you pick an N word. He said that's what they they refer to it as, right? And so, but it's true. But even remember, those networks started off with black programming, and now WB is no longer there. UPN has moved to CW, but remember, they got rid of the game, Girlfriends, all of that. Remember, Moesha used to be on UPN, Parker, all that stuff, and so they shut it down. And now what do you see? You see a lot of science fiction, fantasy type things, but they're starring white people.
Well, I just want to say shout out to Ryan Singh, prolific content creator based here in Toronto and documentary maker. JJ Mars, Fox built their brand on Martin Lawrence, Living Color and Living Single.
Yeah.
Jen Myers said, I love Living Color, New York Undercover. Yes.
Well, you know why you won't see that? Again, it goes back to the money, like what you were saying, because of the songs that were in. Remember, there was always a musical performance.
Yes, Uptown, all those.
And music performances, all music that they used all the way up. They think that it costs too much to license those songs again, to put them out either on DVD or on syndication.
So just to come back full circle to the news thing, so Roland Martin was saying that when Byron Allen bought the Black News Channel, Byron Allen gave him an offer to broadcast on there, and he laughed. He said, "Don't waste your time." He said he told him, "Don't waste my time." So it's really, I wanted to bring it back to the news and the whole thing about content, control of content. Who's that? Follow the money, people.
Yeah,
So
but I
all
don't think
YouTube.
that Byron Allen's news network is getting views. It's Griot News, right?
Yeah.
It's way off somewhere. It's not in every market. We get it, but sometimes I forget that it's there because it's not near all the rest
You know
of them.
what? I'm in the dark. I haven't even bothered with
Well,
it.
Griot used to be Black News Channel, and I
Yeah.
used to watch Black News Channel until they went out of business, and so Griot, he took it over with Griot.
Yeah.
But they still, there's some building that needs to
They
go
have to
on
do.
there, some serious building, because a lot of what they show are repeats of things, very few news shows. And again, like you said, Dr. Vibe, and repeating what Roland says, we have this conversation all the time, because even when it comes to Black movies, Black people talking about, oh, why don't they make this movie about this or this? Why don't we do this? Well, it's like, okay, if somebody makes it, then it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to go see it.
Right.
Why not?
Well,
But because they didn't make this movie, people are calling for a movie about Marcus Garvey. I promise you, some prominent Black person, Ava DuVernay or somebody, will make a Marcus Garvey movie, and you won't go see it.
well, actually, I don't go to see too many movies, but people are telling me there is a movie I should go see that's out right now.
American Fiction.
Yes. I've heard a lot of
Really?
good
Yep.
things about that
Jonathan
movie.
Capehart, just before I came on, Jonathan Capehart was interviewing Jeffrey Wright about it.
I
Yeah,
love Jeffrey Wright.
Me too.
I heard.
I love
I
him.
heard it's an excellent movie. So I'm speaking, depending if I can get it into this week. We're definitely within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to go see that movie because I've heard nothing, because it's really good portrayal of Black family, accurate portrayal of Black
My
family.
daughter and I are going to go see it too. And this week also, Thursday on ABC, I believe it's at 10 p.m. Catch MLKX. It's a mini series TV series. I don't know how long it is, but it's about the lives of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Wow.
Well, and just and condolences. One of his sons passed away just in the last week.
Yes.
And so I'm going to encourage, especially Black. And what did his son die of? Prostate cancer. So gentlemen, Black men, especially if you're over 40, please get your PSA test.
Yeah.
Please.
If you join the Discord group, the clip that I'll put on from our 10 and 10 is that conversation that LaLa and I had about prostate cancer and the killing of Black bodies with things that can be screened with preventative care.
Exactly.
And so that's the clip that I'll put up in our Discord tomorrow. So look for that, and you can see what we said in depth about the death of Dexter Scott King and about us in our healthcare and getting screenings early.
Well, and so I actually, and I'll shout them out. There's an organization based here in Toronto called the Walnut Foundation, and they are an organization dedicated to educate and empower and enlighten Black men and those who love them about prostate cancer. And about 3 weeks ago, they had a free prostate PSA testing for Black men, and about 60 Black men showed up, which is really good. And guess who was one of them?
You.
Yay. Good for you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm glad you did that.
Well, see, I'm a real strange Black man because I go to see my doctor every 3 months. So, I'm really strange, but I don't mind.
You have to. Preventative care is so important.
Critical.
I mean, I wish my brother saw the doctor all the time because he had other issues, particularly with his kidney, but they didn't catch the cancer till it was too late.
All right. So we're going to swing to our next conversation topic, but and Jen says, I remember Montel Jordan's version of what you won't do for love on New York Undercover. Okay. All right. So excellent. And big up to you and the 59 other gentlemen that attended. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were really, really great. And when I was getting all the information, Baby Love 14 says, R.I.P. Dexter Stott King. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the hospital that they're collaborating with, the Walnut Foundation, I was giving them my information, go, oh, can we get on your show and talk about this? Here's my
Yeah.
card. Haven't heard from them. So we'll see if they're serious or curious. All right, let's move forward with our next conversation topic. And thank you, everyone, for chiming in. 45 walks out of the courtroom during closing arguments in E.J. Carroll trial, and now he's $83 million in retribution to excuse me. What do we think?
Did you see the video that they played in the like his deposition that they played during the trial where he said he had $400 million?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he says they asked him how much he thinks. He says, well, we have 400 million. Let's do the math, people. Tish James is asking for 370 million.
Yes.
He has to pay E. Carroll 84 million, 83.3 million, almost 84 million.
Yes.
The math ain't mathing.
Nope. And he's back out on this campaign trail talking about he needs donations.
Donations. He needs a job. He might have to. He's running for president, not just to stay out of jail, but he needs a salary.
He needs a job. He is just the epitome of evilness to me. You know that you did this. He still is going to continue to defame her, and I hope and pray that she keeps taking his butt back to court, because he just cannot keep his mouth shut. I honestly think the judge should have punished him for doing that. It was totally disrespectful to our court system. But what did he do? He immediately went to Truth Social and posted, this is a witch hunt. This is Joe Biden, all of them attacking my platform and the GOP. This is the whole legal system is corrupt and unjust. This is not American.
But he didn't defame E. Carroll again.
He sure didn't.
But
I'm wondering how long.
I think with that gentleman, his favorite word is appeal.
Yes.
Yeah, but
it will cost him to appeal, though.
He can't. Here's the thing. There's a law. It's a great law. He has to bond out in order to appeal.
Yeah.
And bonding out means he has to put up the money.
20%.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, he
20%.
Wow.
You got to put up that money first before you can appeal.
You mean 20% of the donations that are going to come in?
Of the 83.3 million.
Yeah. But think about that. He has to put that up, because if the appeal fails, it starts going right to E. Carroll, and they collect the rest. They will collect the rest. But he's going to have to come up with some money. And it's not just the 20%, it's 20% of that, but he's got to come up with other money too. They're like, it's going to cost him almost half of what he has to bond both trials.
So just comment here from Baby Love. Evil 45 is not going to play that money.
That's why they bonded. That's why they bonded.
Well, so I just did on my calculator here. 83 times 20% is 16.6. That's $16 million.
Now do that for 370 million.
Yeah, do that. Those numbers make me happy.
Wow, that's
the only thing that gets him.
370 times 20% is 74. So that's 74.
So that's almost $100 million. Like it's $80-90 million. Yeah,
in just fees.
Yeah, and that's non-negotiable. He has to do that, or he has to do it. He has to do it regardless, and he has to. Do it
he can't get out of that.
And I believe he has to do it by Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, it's a time limit on this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Within a week. Yeah.
Wow.
But not only that, his attorney is also just as guilty because she talking about she had to delay things, and she's out partying with Trump organization.
They her at the after New Hampshire when he won.
She's talking about she was sick and they caught her. I hope that she gets sanctioned for that.
Did you see the video? Well, the judge did admonish her, but did you see the video where the young man who had taken a picture with her at the event posted it to his social media, and she told Trump to have him thrown out the party?
and he was gone. And this kid is dedicated to Trump. He knocked on so many doors for Trump, and Trump threw him out so fast. And he literally looks like he's about ready to have a nervous breakdown because he says, "But I work for him. I work for him. Tell me why. What did I do wrong?" So you see what I'm saying? He has no loyalty into anyone. Anyone. This kid was all in on Trump. If he's still all in on Trump right now, he's a lost cause.
You know what my comment to that video was? I was like, what was it? MAGA Street Boy. Tell me why. And Alina Hava, I want it that way.
Oh boy. So Baby Love says 45 should be in jail. Well, that's
we agree.
You know, the only part that bothers me about this is that he doesn't have to be a registered sex offender.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. Everybody else would have had to do that.
Wow.
And that's because it's a civil case, not a criminal case, but still.
So I see he's swinging away at your favorite South Carolina.
Well, she came out swinging, y'all.
We dragged her from here to Timbuktu on the 10 and 10. Let me tell you, Nikki Haley's coming up late.
But what I'm saying is he's really going in on her. But the funny thing is, I listen to the news occasionally, and how many people are saying, I don't like how he's treating her, but I'm going to vote for him anyways.
But that's why he got in the first term.
What I don't like is that Nimrod is up there not saying, I don't like what he's saying, and what he's saying is racist.
Right. Duh. But then this week, she took the opportunity, y'all. She took the opportunity. She took a swing. Because after he actually came out and all this came out, she was like, do you realize that if you have this president, all of his energy is going to be taken toward, his illegal thing, and we won't be talking about border control. We won't be talking about wars. We won't be talking about. So him and both Joe Biden both need to drop out and just let us do our job.
And she needs to stop with that, because here's the thing: she's trying to say that Joe Biden is
incapable.
Is the same, not just incapable. There's no difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden has not been indicted on 91 counts, okay? Joe Biden doesn't have these legal issues that Trump does. Joe Biden has actually been legislating. He's been passing laws. He's been getting his agenda pushed through. But and the mental acuity, Joe Biden has a stutter. Donald Trump's just dumb. Okay.
Just dumb.
Okay.
He said this whole long screed about Trump, and he called me this and that, and he's not mentally fit. I think that he needs to have a test. And Joe Biden. And it's gonna backfire on her, because remember, those, like they say, those independents, those swing Republicans.
Yes.
If she doesn't win, which we doubt she will, first of all, they're not in any more states like they were in New Hampshire. Okay, they're not in any more states like they were in New Hampshire. That's first thing.
Right.
The second thing, if she loses, they're gonna go to Biden. They've already said that. So it's like, girl, what are you trying to prove?
All right. Okay, we are gonna take a break before we come back for more on Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and LaLa. Thank you everyone for watching live or on the replay, or if you're listening on the replay, we love you all. So what we want is for you to hang out for a few moments. And actually, Baby Love says, 14 says, Joe Biden and 45 are sorry. We need better candidates running for president. I think so. And I'm
with you on that. I don't really care for either one of them, to be honest.
There you go.
2028 is going to be the opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about the state of LaLa, her state, and some interesting things that are going on there. So keep it locked. We'll be back in 90 seconds.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harry Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harry Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. No, really, the rappers get all the attention. You know, seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant black people, they'll be all up, you know, getting all the headlines on the shade room,
Overly
and
sexualized black
over
folks.
like the twerkers and the, you know, just people that, you know, don't always represent the best of us. You know, the diversity. You know, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe.
They
Dr.
really
Vibe
should.
he's trying to do good work for black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
Okay, we're back on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, and we got some comments that have flowed in. So let's check it out here. So Aisha says they need to freeze 45's accounts until he pays up in full after his appeals fail. All right. And Baby Love says Dr. Boyce and his wife are telling the truth. There you go. All right. So let's get back to our conversation. It's LaLa time. It's LaLa time. Why is it
Good
LaLa
old
time?
Tucky.
Because prominent Kentucky lawmaker files bill to put school choice on the statewide ballot in November. We expect LaLa to lead on this. LaLa, your state.
Man, Kentucky is on one right now. She's having menopause. I don't know what's going on with her and her hot flashes, but they have been in the news all week long with the malarkey. Okay, it's just been so stupid. But this one stands out to me because Kentucky is interesting in the fact that we have turtleneck Mitch McConnell. And then he tried to push his son-in-law, Cameron, and that got a big pushback. And they voted in Andy Brashear as our governor, and he is definitely a good dude to watch. And he is over a state that is a lot red and not so many blue, but he's still handling it. Now, here's what's happening in the Kentucky Senate. Suzanne Miles presented House Bill number 2, and she wants to start allowing funds to be used for school choices that include private and charter schools. They have tried this before, and they have tried to do it in very sneaky ways. And now this is just straight up out. They just said they don't want to continue to do it. They keep throwing it out. They want to make sure that this gets pushed. But what happens is this money, this public funding, this tax dollars that are going to our public schools will be diverted, and they'll be diverted to the private and the charter schools. And we all know who is going to have the disservice of this. Our disenchanted and disenfranchised folk of color in Kentucky will not be able to benefit at all. Their fight is saying that it will enhance their ability to go to charter and private schools. Now, we all know you have to do an application or have enough money, not just a regular fund money, but big money to go to these charter and private schools. So what they're doing is they're trying to funnel all the money from the poorer parts of the state. And this does also include Appalachian Mountain, which is dead dog poor. Okay, that's not just people of color. Okay, those people are also staunch Republicans. So I don't understand how they don't see that this is going to hurt them. But Suzanne is bound and determined that she's going to get this pushed. But Andy Brashear has also stood up very firm and says, I will not let this pass. So it is going to be a very big battle. We don't really have any major elections going on in Kentucky for this next batch. Most of the major elections were last year. So they're really going to be pushing for this to happen before the next big elections happen because they want to see the Supreme Court get involved. Now, The Kentucky Supreme Court in 2022 struck it down. There was a similar bill that they put up there. They struck it down. And then right after that, they tried it again, and the circuit court also struck it down. So I'm not really sure how this is going to go, because we all know they fight dirty. And it's something that we'll have to really pay attention to. But when they can, they try to divert anything for any people of color areas, period. And those, our babies are going to be hurt from this, as well as the Appalachian peoples. And I am just really disgusted on how this state continues to put forth garbage and push their agenda. We talk about the southern states a lot. We know Texas, we know Florida, we know Mississippi, but you know, Kentucky is not too far behind them, guys. And we really need to keep our eye on that, especially since Mitch McConnell is still such a stronghold in that state.
Okay. I listened to everything you said, and it clicked in my mind what they are trying to do, because it reminded me of something from earlier this week. Before Rosa Parks refused her seat on the bus, the NAACP had been planning this. So they did a couple of test cases that a lot of people don't know about, one in particular in South Carolina. And the only reason they didn't make that one a big thing was because it was a teenage girl who was pregnant. So they thought it would look a certain way. But it's funny that this is getting news this week, the same week that Tim Scott was all over the place talking about how teachers' unions are racist and making this push for charter schools. This here in Kentucky is supposed to be on the ballot in the state this fall. Also on the ballot, Donald Trump. And Tim Scott hopes that it will be him as well. They don't have a platform. They're not talking about a platform because Donald Trump is sucking all the air out of the room. But this is one of their platforms. They're watching that case, because if it passes, if Donald Trump wins, they will nationalize that.
Yes, they will.
They will nationalize it. And nothing against charter schools, because some charter schools do really good work when they're founded by people who want to help. But you have charter school companies, these companies, corporations that literally just go around the country and start charter schools. They have a set curriculum. It's not a very good curriculum. The people that work there are not very nice to the children. They try to put them in our neighborhoods for our kids and fill them full of white teachers who don't look like the kids and don't care about the kids that they're working with. And so this thing where, yes, our state has the money can follow the kid in certain circumstances. This is what they're trying to do here. But the problem with this is the push isn't just toward charter schools. These states want to take over education, public education, flip all public schools to charter schools or private schools, because we talked about this before. Remember, New Orleans did their whole education at one point was nothing but charter schools. Their whole city was nothing but charter schools, and they had to change that. But the goal here is to make it so that education becomes unaffordable for people who cannot get to a charter school. And if charter schools are what in Florida, they want to turn all the schools in Florida into charter schools or private schools, but they're not going to call them private schools, but schools that require payment above and beyond what the state will put into it. And so what happens when parents cannot afford to send their kids to these schools? Well, their kids don't go to school.
That's right.
Compulsory attendance laws. Kids don't go to school, parents go to jail.
And don't forget who's running for these school boards, y'all. Don't forget who's running for these school boards. This is a big plan. They're putting it into action.
And remember, we talked last week about the Moms for Liberty charter school.
All right. So Baby Love 14 says money for public schools should not go to charter and private schools. He also says the United States is still very racist. The United States is not united. We're just so very divided. God help us all. And also says Tim Scott is crazy for supporting Donald Trump. I have a question for both of you.
He's more in crazy, but
for both of you have children that are past the public school age. If you had children of that age at this time, would you send them to public school, charter school, or would you homeschool?
Homeschool for me is out. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, public school, but I'm an advocate for public school mostly because I have a family full of public school teachers. Right, my mom was a public school teacher for like 47 years. My great aunt, public school teacher since 1958, still teaching, right?
And so LaLa, I want to go in with you a little bit then. For both of you, do you see the value of Blacks doing homeschool versus public school and charter schools?
I see a value in it.
Okay, I'll let Aisha finish.
I see a value in it, but the capability is not there because people have to work, people have to live and survive. You can't teach you can't do it without having a salary come in. So it's like if you're a single parent, how are you supposed to do that?
And that was what exactly I was going to say. We both see eye to eye on that. And I think of it in my family's terms as well. Like, I think about all of my nieces that have children coming up and things of that nature, and they're working so hard. They can't take on that either. Mm-hmm. And so I can see that I can see the benefit of that if it can be done and they can be compensated to do so, then we will be able to teach our children at home. But right now, when you're trying to pay the bills, cook the dinner, and go to extracurricular activities, you don't have the bandwidth mentally to be able to do all of that. And I do know one person that does it, and she's exhausted.
Okay. And it will cost you even more money too. It costs you more money too because you're gonna have to get a tutor. I couldn't teach my daughter physics.
And honey, don't think you're gonna find out on ChatGPT.
No, and especially when they got this. Look, they got the new math. Because remember, we came up during the new math. They got the new math now, and where the math has to also make sense. They connect it to their understanding of literature and stuff like that.
What? No.
They got a whole screed of how they got to figure out that 5 times 9 is 45 when we just had to memorize 5 times 9 is 49. That's it. Just memorize it.
Okay,
that's right.
So from Twitch, Liberty Twitcher says parents should not be allowed to choose better private education. Everyone should be equally required to use public schools. Baby Love 14 is on fire today, saying, I don't have any children, but I'm very concerned. And also says, our people have to fight against this injustice. How do you fight against it?
Well, first of all, state constitutions do not necessarily have a law that, to Liberty's question, they don't have a law that requires them to provide a public education. They have a law that requires them to provide a publicly funded facility that is equal, not separate. But that part of it, it's not there. And I only know that because I had to learn that when I learned that during a school segregation case I was called about and had to research on. But one of the other things too is that people get things confused. Okay, I actually worked at a charter school. I was their director of communications, and I hated every day of it. The kids and the parents wanted something. They needed something. The teachers, specifically the white teachers there, they were not great to these kids, all Black and Latino. And they were not great to these kids at all. And our kids need love and attention. And, there are public schools. Magnet schools are also public schools. I went to a magnet school for middle school.
I went to a magnet school.
It was great. It was an arts magnet school, and it was probably the best part of my foundation. But these charter schools, I mean, anybody can start a charter school. You don't have to have a background in education. Look at Moms for Liberty.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Got some. Liberty Twitcher says also, allowing a better alternative harms the public schools. Government should do whatever it can to make sure public schools don't have to compete. Baby
I
Love
can't
said,
say that I don't necessarily disagree with that. I
don't
think
either.
there's some teeth to that. Yeah.
yeah,
But I think it would require a federal law in our Constitution that the United States government has the obligation to fully fund and fully support a public school system equitably.
So Baby Love 14 says, we all have to pray, vote, protest, write letters, and educate our own people. I also think we also gotta money.
Yeah, and
Heather,
you know what? One thing about the writing letters thing, you know what? We need to not just write letters to our legislators. We need to write letters to each other. I saw this great campaign where people literally write letters to other people who are voters because they're not aware of the issues.
Yeah.
And it gets people motivated to vote for something that's important.
I like that.
Okay. Also, Liberty Twitcher. Yeah, I hope you come over to YouTube and follow, but we also need to pull all the Asians down so they stop achieving more than others. It's not fair. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Heather Harris. Hey, Chair, saying good evening to all. And she's actually an educator herself, saying good evening to all. Where are all the tax dollars going? Also, I've noticed that in the school, certain students are focused on at the expense of other students.
Well, there's that tracking system that they've been doing. Once remember, the tracking system wasn't there until they desegregated schools. Then they started the tracking system. But what she said about the tax dollars, remember, school education, public education is funded according to a state determined formula. So every state has a different formula. There's not a universal formula that the federal government is not paying your state, your public education. States get certain supplements depending on the poverty rates,
population,
rates from the federal government, but the majority of your school public education comes from your state and your local
municipal
town where the district is. So not every state has a per pupil minimum, and most states that have most of the states, we have a great per pupil minimum. In Connecticut, it's still not enough, but some of these other states, like in the deep South, have like $3,000 per pupil minimum per pupil. That's what they pay. That's what the state pays. The local district has to come up with the rest through tax dollars. And for example, if you live in a town like my hometown where the majority of people rent and not own, property taxes aren't coming in. Or if the majority of this town, like my hometown, is owned by Yale, which is tax exempt, there's a tax revenue that's not coming in. So that's how they're funding it. And that's where the tax dollars are going to.
Stuff. Got Galen Bingham, the leadership strategist, chiming in, says America is capable of doing anything she really wants. She doesn't see the value in everyone being able to think independently or critically. Also, Heather says PTA involvement also makes a difference, as does representation on school boards. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate too, because these PTA meetings, I did a whole thing in South Carolina where we created a way for there to be parental networks in 42 of the 46 districts, 42 of the 46 counties. So the problem that parents run into is that some parents work. They have the meeting at night. Well, their parents who work at night can't always be there, or don't have a babysitter, and they don't allow for kids to come, or they have it right after school and parents work. It's, the PTA has to also, I think, be more accessible to parents.
All right. Good stuff. Good conversation.
Zoom meetings would actually be a good idea for PTA.
What? What meetings?
PTA by Zoom.
Okay.
should be
All
a regular practice. That way people can join in
All
or
right.
go back and watch.
All right. Oh, comments still coming in on this one. Heather says, I've seen the same parents pack the house for a fashion show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's move to our next conversation piece. Another one brought by Laura, LaLa, Locks, Key. Go ahead, Locks.
Oh, y'all know I love me some AI. I don't know why this fascinates me. It just fascinates me about the whole thing. First, I wasn't really on board with it. I was really wondering about where it was going to go with this ethics, and there is some good things to AI and things of that nature. But then you have these things. The family of comedian George Carlin is suing a media outlet because they have put out a whole hour special with AI voice of George Carlin. They did not ask for permission. They did not get any type of approval. They used copyright material. And now they have, and they feel his daughter, his actual daughter, I can't think of her name now. I have to look again, but his daughter is the one who's leading this fight because she says the way that they have done this doesn't even stand for the things that he did. And the way the show did this, putting out this AI hour special, was they mimicked his voice, and then they tried to make it a debate for the public. Like, well, did that really sound like him? Did you really enjoy it? So they tried to put a twitch on it by at least saying it was AI, but still using all of his content to make it something to gain money for themselves or attention for themselves, because we all know the more views you get on anything, the more money you get paid. So I see this coming more and more. As I am also getting into the AI, I am also now being marketed to quite a bit for people who's like, you can use your voice to do your own real estate shows. You can use your voice to do. So I'm getting more and more of those. I see that this is going to be a very serious problem. I don't know how we nip this in the bud now that it's actually been let out of the bag, but this is very dangerous. And now people have to go and chase something that has already been done to bring it down when the damage is already done. Yeah. The damage is done. You can't take it back. So how do we make this more ethical for the world?
Just before you jump in, Aisha, George Carlin's daughter is Kelly. Kelly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Aisha.
We talked about this in depth on our 10 and 10 about AI and where it was going and some of the things that we saw problems with. Here's my problem. The body that would regulate this is our Congress. Yeah. And they are in such they've done nothing in the last 2 years that the Republicans have had control. And they had one hearing about AI. And that was it. And what's so bad is that the one hearing, all the people on the committee barely understood what TikTok was. They call it the TikTok. So they didn't even
TikTok.
Yeah, literally.
And so this is what bothers me, is because, like you said, the cat's out the bag. So first of all, we're already 10 years too late in coming up with some regulations regarding our use of internet material and tools and social media and all of that. But they're not even trying. No. And it's going to take for there to be some massively huge suit. It's going to take for a billionaire or a millionaire, multimillionaire,
for
them to be spoofed by AI and sue somebody that puts money in their pockets, like the NRA or something.
Yes.
For them to be motivated to even come up with regulations that barely hold the guardrails in place.
Well, but this is what we talked about. Honestly, I'm so sorry, Dr. Vibe, because if you haven't heard the 10 and 10, you really need to, because this story ties directly into what they've already done with President Biden's voice and robocalling people. This is all happening within the same week. This is actually a daily thing that we need to fight. And it's not just one case every day. We just hear of one thing maybe every couple of days. But the damage was done with those robocops with Biden. And they even used his phrasing, like I started to say malarkey. Everybody knows that malarkey is Biden. So when you have someone who isn't very, very savvy with this type of technology and this person is telling them don't vote, there is a problem because now we have interference that needs to be tracked down. It's definitely this is some scary stuff, y'all.
Remember those robocalls went out to people with landlines. We're talking like 80-year-old women who don't even know what AI is.
No.
Getting these robocalls and thinking Joe Biden's calling them. So, there's a problem, especially with this election. There's going to be all this misinformation. They're not just spoofing voices and calls, they're spoofing video. Okay.
Yes.
So it's going to be really, really bad, and it's going to have an impact on our elections. The reason that Congress isn't doing anything about it right now, because they think that it can work in their benefit, this Republican Congress.
Yes.
Because guess what? Every last one of them plans on using it.
Oh, yes, they do. They've already got somebody working on it right now.
It's interesting. Baby Love 14 says, I don't like AI. Jen says, I even see an option now on Facebook for write with AI when I'm typing a post.
It's in Google Docs too.
Yes.
Google Docs now has that. And so does Google email, your Gmail. And it's like, I didn't ask for this.
There you go. Well, it's interesting. I would say not only America, but North America, Canada included, is so behind on this. Europe is much further ahead. Like they actually sue companies like Facebook, like Google's what's Alphabet, which is and these companies in Europe, they're having to pay these fines.
Yes, they are. And that's very interesting. Since I'm back and forth so much, I'm hearing a lot of how their concerns are. We don't hear it so much in America, just how much they are pushing back with this AI agenda.
Exactly. So Fitness IQ goes, you know how I feel about AI. She loves AI. So,
well,
I love it too.
With it. I mean, it does have its benefits, but there do need to be some regulations,
guidelines. Yes,
people. I mean, if you're gonna use my voice or something like that, you need to cut me a check, run me my money.
That's what the writer's strike was all about in Hollywood, right?
But guess what? You can't just remember people used to be able to sample other artists' music and not pay them until they couldn't. You can't do that now because it's copyright infringement, and AI should be the same.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, because this whole story was written around the fact that they were using his copyright material.
Right. And the problem with that now is that, remember, we did the story about them moving to doing AI news, right? So there is just a huge layoff, massive layoff of newsrooms, the biggest newsrooms in New York and LA. And so what do you think? They're not going to rehire people. They're going to replace them with AI.
Okay. So Fitness IQ goes, love is a strong word. She goes, I like it. And it helps. Not the extreme things. Harris says, AI is not to be feared, but rather understood. We all need media literacy. And then she's asking both of you, how do we leverage it?
Again, like I said, it's going to be somebody with money that gets jerked around to get Congress to do it, because we can't do anything about regulation only by voting the right people in to do it, right? And making sure they have a majority to pass it in both the House and the Senate. And so at this point, and those people that are there, they have to be motivated to do it.
Well, here's what's going to happen. We know it. Somebody big and somebody who's going to have a lot of power is going to get put into an AI situation that can't be taken back. They're going to create some nasty video and some nasty words with AI voice. And that's when the action is going to be taken. Until us peons, can get them to listen to us, which they won't until it affects them, there isn't anything you can do. You have already unleashed the beast.
Yeah. And remember, people are using this now. Like there's there was an article I read a couple weeks ago about pedophiles using AI to
Yes.
create their own pornographic films. And then people are like, well, what do you do about that? Because they're not actual people, children, people that they are putting into this to make these films. But remember, their AI is being modeled and trained using actual people's photographs they find
Yes.
online, actual people's words. So, it's
You're feeding the beast. But I will advise and say this, and people need to really also think about this. We see all these beautiful, cute children on social media. People love to post their children, but it's so very easy to take those photos, and it's already a black market for these things. But they take people's photos, your children that you post on your social media, and they take it and they put it into the AI model. And now all of a sudden they have a nasty, nasty, nasty picture with your child's face on it. You as parents need to also be very aware of what you are putting out on social media, because it can be used for other purposes than what you intended it for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Absolutely. Fitness IQ goes yikes about this unfortunate uses of it, and she goes nah, no good, no good. I would suggest, and I don't know if I posted in the Discord group. There's a lady named Manifa Brooks, and I'm assisting her in amplifying her business. She has 15 years of knowledge of um, digital privacy, digital security. I think I'll see if I can get her on during one of the conversations and maybe come in for a segment and talk about that. I think I've posted the link when I've had her on the Morning Vibe, which is another thing I host in the Discord group. But I think it'd be really good to get her perspective, because she is really, really good at the whole area of digital privacy. And and her company deals with companies in Canada, the United States, and in Europe. So she has a
It would be a
really
wonderful to have her, because we really do need that perspective. People need to be educated about what's going on.
Yes. So I'm going to make a reach out there tomorrow to see if I can pull her on a Saturday evening to come on, and we just do a special about digital prevention, literacy, etc. I think it'd be great to have her on the platform. And Baby Love says, 14 says, I will never use AI. Be careful. I never say never, my friend. Never say never, because you know what? It may be already using you and you don't even know it.
Yeah, and that's like, for me as a writer with my articles and things out there, AI could read my stuff, and I've actually done that, tested it, and I just put my name in there, and it went browsing the web, and came up with and summarized about like 10, told me what my 10 top articles were and summarized them for me.
Yes.
Ouch. All right. Well, I know that conversation topic will continue for a long time on this platform. So definitely, let's finish off with a good conversation piece. Report finds that Black people are the biggest new group of stock investors in America. What we got to say about that?
I think it's a wonderful thing.
Too, yeah, especially for the young people, because y'all might not have Social Security. Hell, we might not have Social Security.
Right.
Y'all might not have Social Security. So, one of the, it's a very good thing when you have a 401k or whatever. What they're doing is basically investing your money in stock. So, I think this is great. I think this is great news.
Well, I'm proud of this, because most of our families do not discuss money with our children. And so they grow up myself included, you just didn't talk about money, how much you made and what you did with it. Okay. And I feel like I missed out on learning some of the key things that most other Americans knew about that I didn't. I didn't know about the credit card dangers. I didn't know about, the things that came up, and I had just a little bit of education. I could have run with it. It took me years to figure that out. Now, here's what I hope to see. I am super proud of this topic. I'm very happy that this is even something where it's a news article. But now what I'm going to need these people to do is to turn around and teach their children to do the same.
Teach everybody to do the same. I
Yes.
mean, start making your videos, and you can make a whole long think piece about who's better, Chris Brown or Prince. But what they're not doing is making these whole long videos about this. Like people like Dr. Boyce does these kinds of things. So definitely, I think that watch those videos, because it's very useful information. And
Dr. Boyce, this is his wheelhouse. Like he did. He's just finishing up a 30-day challenge. He had people sign up for a course, and every day he had a class for those people who signed up for his challenge about finances, and basically telling people to meditate on their finances. He asked a question one of the classes saying, "Close your eyes, and how do you feel if you don't have money?"
That's a scary thought.
It is.
And then
the level of anxiety.
Exactly, right? Because with money comes freedom, and with freedom comes options.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the thing that, especially for the young people growing up, big time teach our younger people, because, and I'll promote what he does. He has something called the $5 a day stock program. If you have really young kids, $5 a day. So basically $150 a month. And he says by that time that child gets to 20, 25 years old, if they invest in stocks, they'll be worth $250,000.
Yeah. And the sad part too is, LaLa, you brought up a good point. We have to, and I don't know if this is indicative of Canadian culture, but it's indicative of American culture, where the notion and the idea of talking about money is rude. We have to get away from that, because by not talking about it, it's rude, and people aren't living their best lives because they don't know what to do with it when they have it, and they don't know different ways of bringing it in or investing it, or how to save properly, and just anything that's attached to our money. People don't want to talk about these things, and we were raised from very young children. Oh, that's impolite. It's rude to talk about that.
And remember, we also couldn't ask people how they voted either.
Right, but so Fitness IQ Cam says, "Yep." She says more financial topics. That's her wheelhouse, by the way.
Yes.
Baby Love 14 says Dr. Boyce does talk about stocks. Yep. I need to sign up. Yep. JG Mars, finance in the Black community needs to be an ongoing issue to talk about. Yep. And Fitness IQ, who's based in the Toronto, says rooted in the Caribbean and Canadian culture. So the same things that are going on down there, it's almost mirror and match going on up here. And I think the whole thing, and here's another great question, and I'm borrowing from what Dr. Boyce said in one of his broadcasts recently. When you were growing up, what did you think about money?
That it was hard to come by.
Yeah.
It was very hard to come by, and it was something that was a lot of times out of reach.
And so, and I also got to piggyback on Dr. Aisha, his dear wife, who, has social worker, certified trauma specialist, and counsels Black couples, Black individuals. A lot of things that we think about money when we're young, we're still holding on to those thoughts today.
Yeah.
I was just the question. LaLa and I talked about this Thursday. We're definitely committed to doing more of the finance topics and things on our Patreon. We're going to do more of those videos. We talked about that already. So if you want more finance conversation from us, you can get it there too. But I was thinking about these young people. I saw something. This girl was like, "Oh, you know, her husband, instead of getting her this big elaborate engagement ring, had given her a deed to a house.
Yes.
And she was upset about not getting the engagement ring.
And said she wasn't going to live in the house. My man saved up for this and was so excited about giving his loved one a house. And she said she
Paid
wasn't
for, no mortgage.
no mortgage, no nothing. Our priorities need to be put back into place. And first of all, they weren't even in the right place because we weren't taught about it. So now here we are. We can change it by starting the conversation and teaching one another how to be better with our money, how to think about our money better, and also change the whole mindset of it not being something of the root of all evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. You're not supposed to be without. That's not in your path for this life. You can change it.
All right. So just to hear, Heather Harris says, please share the link to Dr. Boyce's program. I'm gonna share. I will share it in either maybe the Discord or email directly because I can't do so many things at once. I'm trying to multi-purpose right now. But the trauma, that's one of the courses that Dr. Aisha talks about, financial trauma.
Yeah.
Actually, her and Dr. Boyce started a school, probably one of the few ones in the world, Black financial trauma school. So you have him as a PhD in economics, and she has her PhD in social work and a certified trauma specialist. And they have some great people on that staff that address that. So she's saying, yes, please. I'll see if I can get that link. Finance IQ says financial trauma. That is, yep. She's saying about this lady, Yamhead. That's what I will call her, a Yamhead. JJ Mars goes, too many of us will pay $600 for sneakers, SMH. I got something. Is it Rent a Center in the US now? You can rent Air Jordans.
Yeah. You know, they've got places. They've actually got small businesses that do this with just sneakers. There's one place down here that you can just rent. You can actually rent them instead of paying the full $600 for them, and then send them back. They do that with other. They do that with other clothes too.
Face.
But I wouldn't want to. Yeah. But you know, though, think about this. It's when you talk about the financial trauma and talk about it for us in particular, it's like we're the only people in this country who were by law literally bought and paid for.
That just gave me chills.
Think about that. And to know your value is, $200 as a human being. That trauma has been generationally passed down and passed down and passed down.
Okay, actually, let me just see, because people don't believe me about this story. I'm gonna put it up here. I think.
But
yes.
don't Rent a Center do
there we go. Here, I'm gonna put it up. Here we go. I'm gonna put it up here right now. You said it, Rent a Center in the US. I'm gonna put it up here right now. The title of the story is Air Jordan Shoes Too Expensive. This retailer lets you
rent to own them, right?
Oh, yeah, so there it is. A Rent-A-Center is renting out Jordans for $19.99 a week. These Air Jordan 5 Racer Blues sell for about $300 on the secondary sneaker sites. The offer is $375 to buy. After passing $375 in rental, there's an offer to buy the shoes for $525.
But don't forget that you also pay interest when you.
Yes, you do, and high.
Sneakers are like they're $350 on the market. By the time you finish paying for them with them, you're paying like $700.
Yep.
And then by then the new ones are out.
Right? It actually broke my heart, that vibe. I just couldn't.
So Baby Love 14 says, I would never pay a lot of money for tennis shoes. So JJ Mars says, smelly used shoes.
Well, no, the people if they're rent to buy, they're probably new.
Right there. That's Fitness IQ Cam says, that's crazy. Fitness IQ Cam says, just get the stock on that company. Absolutely.
Yep.
And then you can buy the shoe. Exactly.
True.
Baby
I think
Love
what's
14
Nike
says,
stock right now, like $150 per share.
yeah, a house is paid for is a blessing.
Yes,
Baby
it
Love
is.
14.
And it's
Uh,
money. And
That's
it's
right.
money.
And
well,
power.
not only that, but there's a key word when it comes to finances that I think a lot of Black people don't know of: leverage.
That's right. I preach it every day.
Leverage, 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 leverage. If you are a homeowner and you're good with your payments, you have so much power, financial power, that you can use with that leveraging. It is so, as I've been told, the first level from poverty to middle class is a homeowner, then to get to this high level class, stock ownership.
That's right.
Stock ownership. And then Fitness IQ says again, that's why I said, yeah, man. Oh, LOL.
That
She
house is worth
goes,
more than any of the rings that she wants. Believe
all
it.
right.
Oh, I'm
And
telling
it
you.
says, buy Nike stock. Well, here's probably the best example of all time: Bitcoin. There
Yeah.
were Black individuals many, many years ago pushing, urging Black people to buy Bitcoin, and no one has. Not a lot of people have now, and it's still going up. It's still going up. But again, it's the long-term play, just like a house, long-term
Yes.
play,
Long-term play.
right? Again, as a whole other, many of us who look like us have been taught about the immediate gratification.
Yeah, I don't need a Coach person. I don't need any red bottom shoes. That has never been my thing.
Well, I look, I have a Coach purse. And
Okay.
let me tell you, I got it from their what do you call it? Coach has a
Outlet.
outlet. Yes, they have an outlet, an online outlet. I was like, I don't know the difference between different seasons anyway. I just know I'm gonna get it from this outlet for this amount of money, $100, as opposed to that $1,200 that they're selling at the store.
That's right.
And I just
And
look,
there,
I
I
just
think
need a
one
big enough
thing that we
bag.
don't talk about, there are ways to get things that you like for a lesser price. It's your priority.
Absolutely.
I never ever
Absolutely.
tell people that they can't have something,
Yeah,
but there
but
is
take care of
something
yourself
they balance.
first.
Yeah, be able to eat maybe. How about that?
You
Let
know,
me tell you
like,
something.
yeah, those things. Baby Love, you're in a minority. You're a minority in your country by race, and you're also a minority. I thank God the house I live in is paid for. Do you know how much power you have in
Yes.
You know
that?
how much rent is.
There you go.
Yes,
Right?
what I pay in rent is shameful. But
Yes.
look,
There you
the
go.
rents are going up.
Yep.
Mean,
If the rents are going up, house values are going up.
yeah,
You
house
Right?
don't want
values are
me to
going up.
start on this soapbox.
No. We easy now. Take it easy, locks. All right. Fitness. So Fitness IQ Cam says I have a small percentage of what? Nike stock? Hold on to it.
Nice.
There you
The
go.
long game, run the long
The
game.
long game. The long game. There. Speaking about AI, there's a company called AMD. AMD are the major manufacturers of chips for AI. Their stock value
Wow.
and yeah, so I know Fitness IQ Cam, otherwise known as KSFEYL RWFQ. I think the AMD stock went up over 300% in the last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a serious growth mover. And even when Facebook, if you look, this is what I suggest what people do: pick a company, most companies in this case, look up stock value and look the long term. Don't look in the last year, but look over the last 10, 15 years. Gentleman who's a great associate of mine, Wayne Harris, he used to work for Microsoft many years ago. He bought Microsoft stock probably in the 1980s.
Oh, wow.
Enough said.
Also, to look at your 401k.
Yes.
The last time I did 401k paperwork, your job will give you, I think it's like 30 days to sign up for it. I went through every last one of those different stocks that I could invest in my money in, and I looked at their last 6 months, and how they did their ups, and because some of them you might get just a screenshot and you'll see it's going up. I'm like, but how did it do beforehand, and
That's right.
what's doing that?
Long game.
Because that is the long game.
Long game. So baby love, I see, and this parenting again example. My mother left me and my sister the house. Your mother built generational wealth. There you go. Generational wealth. Absolutely. Let's see. Finance IQ Cam says yes. Oh, the stock options of the company. Some of the companies are gold. Yes. All right. So there you go. So long term, even if it's just starting small. And the other thing I would suggest people have life insurance.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation, because too many Black people are dying with a bill, not a will.
Yeah, and this is why you see all those GoFundMe pages.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I was gonna add another story. We'll stop here. I was gonna add something else. We leave it at that. So we are done. It's another epic conversation called Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, and we're here 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, Saturday. We make Saturdays rock. Oh, more conversation comics coming in. Baby Love says life insurance is very important. Yes. Heather says we have to have continuous conversations with our children so they can grow rather than squander their inheritance. Absolutely. Jen Myers. Okay, hold on. Many 401ks will offer an employer match, free money. Same here in Canada. Yes. Heather Harris says enjoyed. Thank you. There we go. So that's it. So before we vacate the premises, just brought that one up. Vacate the premises. So before, man, the comments are still coming in. People loving you, ladies, are on fire. Baby Love says everybody have a blessed weekend. Heather Harris says enjoyed. I put up again, Jen, great show. Thank you. Well, make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching. That's the most important thing, and tell people about it. But before we go any further, contact information is due and necessary. So first up, locks.
You can catch me on all these social media streets under Living the LaLa Life.
All right. Aisha K.
You can find me on Instagram. I have been on X lately because of some of the political conversations, but there is a way for you to get past all of the algorithms. Don't log on into the app. Use your browser and you'll get the content that you want to see, not the content they want to see.
Oh, there you go. Social media education. All right, myself, you can contact me. Website, thedrvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the dr period vibeshow, and Instagram at the drvibeshow, and X. Most of the time, I just put stuff on X when we're doing a live conversation. So that is it. That is all. Getting some more comments in before we shut it down. Let's see. Baby Love, great show. Thank you. I hope you subscribe wherever you're watching. Well, yeah, it sounds like you may be watching on the Dr. Voice, Fun Nubian Queen, no problem. But also, if you can, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe YouTube. Finance IQ, Cam, great show. Love the discussion. Thank you. So let's do some housework before we exit. First of all, I put it in the chat. Primetime Saturday Show store. There is the link. I've also put it out on other platforms. There is the link for the Patreon where you can catch 10 at 10. 10 in 10. 10 at 10, not 10 in 10. Yes. Join the Primetime Discord group. Email me. And also not only read the stuff that's there, but contribute, because the more we know, the more we need to know. Please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel. Go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit subscribe and hit the notification button. Also, follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, as I said. What else we got going on? To advertise your business, product, or service on the platform, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So that is it. We've got, I think, one last. Eunice Graham, thank you. As always, a great show. Thank you, Eunice. Appreciate you. All right, let's finish it up. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And we will see you next week. And follow us. And also doing a lot of shorts from the show. So like them, follow them. Good night.